Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. It is a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise that money. I will commit to running whilst vlogging a minimum of 5 kilometres every single day, and I'll even do it barefoot style. So for those regulars who know that I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and most importantly how these topics link together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. Now it's a beautiful day today, very hot and humid, about 20 degrees, a little bit overcast, not too breezy, so a little bit hot but okay running conditions. And it's Sunday Run Day today, where we discuss all things running. And today's topic is the top 5 mistakes that runners who are beginning to run make. Hope that makes sense. So as always, if you like this episode or please want to support the challenge, please give this content a subscribe, a like and share, and let's get started. So the top 5 mistakes that beginner runners will generally make, okay? This is really important because people, although running is one of the most accessible sports you can do, accessible levels of fitness, you just put your running trainers on and off you go. But I think there's a few things to consider before starting to run to get the most out of it and to ensure you avoid injury, most importantly. So I'm going to go through the top 5 mistakes that I see beginner runners making all the time. So number 1, not having the right equipment. What I mean by that is trainings predominantly. You get a lot of kind of advanced kind of running, training clothing as well, which wicks sweat away from the body and all that side of things. But to begin with, you just need to have the right running trainers. Okay, too many people just go, oh, just run in any old trainers, and before you know it, you get injured. Now, if you're looking to take running up as a regular exercise routine, then it's always worthwhile getting your gait analysed. And the reason to do this, if you haven't had your gait analysed, you go into a proper running shop and they will perform what's called gait analysis. And what they're going to do is they're going to put you on a treadmill and they're going to video for you from behind, seeing where your foot lands and how straight you are or perpendicular you are with the ground upon impact. And the idea is you need to be as straight as possible when you land, because some people have pronation or supination, which is where your ankle rolls more one way or the other, okay, when you land. And the downside of that is if you do land slightly at a tilt either way, then over the course of repetition you're going to get injured, because it's a repetition sport. If your technique's not right or it's not corrected, then you're going to end up getting injured. So getting the right pair of running trainers is really, really important. Making sure they are actually running trainers, for one, because running trainers are often a lot more supportive. And 2, if you get your gait done, if you've got any running inefficiencies in your technique, you'll get placed with some shoes that will support you to train your body to correct its technical difficulties, or correct the technique which is slightly out. Because remember, running is all about repetition, so it's vitally important you give yourself the best chance of staying fit rather than do all the work, get really enjoying your running, and then before you know it, bam, you get injured and it knocks you back significantly. So mistake number 1, just getting any old gear and running in it. Don't do that. At least have some supportive running trainers as a minimum, and if possible, get clothing as well that wicks moisture away from your body, so it will stop chafing and it will make it a more enjoyable experience. Okay, so that's mistake number 1. Number 2 is people just go out and run without any form of stretching or warm-up to begin with. So there's lots of different ways you can do warm-ups. You can stretch, kind of more static stretching. You can stretch in a dynamic fashion, so it's more movement-based stretching. Or you can just do a warm-up. So when you get out and run, for the first minute or 2, or maybe a bit longer depending how you feel, just run at a slow pace just to loosen your legs, get them used to things before you then start gradually increasing the pace. The amount of times I see people start out and run, no warm-up, no nothing, and before you know it, twang, your hamstring goes, your calf goes, because your muscles just aren't warm enough and you start pushing them too quickly. So vitally important. I stretch every day before I run. I run every day, so I have to stretch to make sure that my muscles are loose enough before I just go out, and if they're too tight, I can end up pulling or tearing a muscle. So really, really important. So number 3, don't go out too quick. The amount of times somebody new to running just gets so competitive too quickly and will go out and try and set really quick times or anything. It's not running. When you get into it, it can give you so many things, but too many people get caught up in just wanting to be quicker. And quick is good, okay, if that's what you're training for, but more often than not, you build up to a pace, you build up to progression. You don't just go out and expect to be really good immediately. You have to work and graft at it. And the issue is, if you go out and try and work too quickly or try and push too hard too soon, again, you'll end up getting injured because your body's not used to it. Okay, people talk about running a marathon, for example. You're not going to turn up on the start line of a marathon and expect to run it. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have the fitness, you're not going to have the stamina to be able to do it. And it's the same regard to starting running. If you just start running and expecting to be run really quick for a sustained period of time, it's not going to happen. You might have a really good level of fitness, but that fitness is not going to be related to running fitness. It's the same with any sport. You get running fitness, you get football fitness, you get all sorts of different sport type fitness that uses different muscle groups, different pace, different intensity. Running is often repetition, rhythmic, it's endurance, okay? If you've played football all your life and you've been playing at a good level, yeah, you can get around the football pitch really well. But doing something on the long for endurance in running is a slower pace for a longer period, for a sustained period of time. Very, very different. And you met people thinking, I'm fit, I can do it, no problem. Push themselves too soon, blow up really, really quickly, and end up getting injured. So mistake number 3 is don't go out too quick, okay? Just build up. It's all about progression. Gradual progression is the best way to improve as a runner. Number 4, not being hydrated, okay? In weather like today, it's really, really hot today. I'm going to be sweating a shed loads. I'm going to do probably half marathon today, so I'm pretty early into my run. I'm in about 3k into it, so I've got a long, long way to go. I'm about 1/7 of the way. So it's a longer run. I'm going to sweat a lot. Okay, so it's really important that hydration is key. Okay, so I hydrated before I went. I drink a lot of water every day, so I try and remain relatively hydrated. I drink a gallon of water a day in general, which is about 3.8 litres or 3.7 litres of water every single day. That's what I try and do anyway, to remain constantly hydrated. If you're not hydrated, your muscles are going to be tighter, they're not going to recover as quicker, you're going to be risky of getting injured. But most importantly, if you're not hydrated, your body's 70% liquid, water. If you haven't hydrated enough, you're going to lose your energy, it's going to be really, really uncomfortable, your mouth's going to go really dry, you'll be sweating loads, and you'll just dehydrate, which will mean you have to stop, your body will just quit on you. So hydration, super important. Like today, for example, I'm doing a half marathon, I have hydrated fairly well, but at the halfway point, I'm running past a newsagent. I have my Apple Watch Series 6 on me so I can access all my bank cards, etc. So if I'm feeling hot, I'll probably stop and get a drink, have a very quick drink, and then do the second half after I've hydrated again. So hydration, certainly in hot weather, so important. But you get a lot of beginner runners that don't take the hydration side of things serious enough, and the end result is dehydration. And running dehydrated is very, very dangerous. Okay, your body will literally shut down if you're not hydrated well enough. So super important. And the 5th one is not taking recovery days. People start running, they just want to run regularly, they want to run consistently, they want to do routines, and you get people that think they can just go and run every day straight off the bat. Yes, I do run every day because I'm on a challenge. I don't recommend it. It's not recommended because I get no rest period. And the importance of a recovery day, especially if you're a new runner, your muscles aren't going to be used to it. Now, my muscles are fairly used to this intensity every single day, hence I can do it. But yeah, I didn't start this challenge until I've been running for over 3 years. So my body had adapted and gained a level of endurance and efficiency and fitness as a runner before I even took this on, because my body has learnt to recover quicker because of having get conditioned to running in this environment. If you're a new runner, you're going to be really stiff after one session of running. Now, I do not recommend you run that second day because your body's going to be so stiff and it's going to be trying to recover whilst you run, and you're just going to increase the risk of injury. So really, really important that you take those recovery days. I would very seldom run 2 days consecutively as a beginner. Okay, it's only after you've been running for a period of time you can start doing consecutive days running. But to begin with, always make sure you have a rest day in between to give your body sufficient time to recover and to avoid those nasty injuries. So, just going past some people, so just bear with me a second. Afternoon. For those regulars will know that I try not to vlog when I'm running past people. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. Anyway, so to summarise, the 5 biggest mistakes that beginner runners make is: number 1, not wearing the right footwear. Okay. Number 2, they don't stretch or warm up before running. Number 3, they go out too quick. Number 4, they don't hydrate. And number 5, they don't take recovery days. So if you are a new runner, remember these 5 mistakes and avoid them. If you avoid them, you'll have a long, enjoyable running career and you'll minimise the likelihood of injury, which is so important. If you don't listen to this advice from someone who's been there, who's done it, then it's highly likely that you will be injured and running will be a lot more of a challenge for you to keep consistently running, which is what ultimately it's all about. So that's pretty much it for me today. As always, if you've got any questions and stuff, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and I'll tag you in. Please do check the links in my bios where you can follow the challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities by running and vlogging on consecutive days. And all that's left to say is that my content is always geared around helping people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. Now, we all experience the daily, weekly pressures in our lives in the form of stress, okay? And it's how we deal with these stresses on a daily or weekly basis that can often determine the difference between success and not being successful, depending on what success looks like to you. And what I mean by that is the ability to kind of clear your head, process what's going on, you know, gain clarity, refocus and move on. That is what we call a release mechanism. And I do it through run vlogging. Other people do it for other exercise, reading, listening to music, whatever it is that you do. You need to have that release mechanism in your life. Because if not, those daily, weekly pressures in the form of stress are going to build and build and build. And before you know it, you're going to be overwhelmed. When you get to overwhelmed, you've got too many things going on in your life. You don't know where to turn. You almost have a seizure. You freeze, you procrastinate. And then very, very quickly that will evolve into panic and anxiety. And at that stage, you're flirting with the edges of mental health issues. If we use the pressure in a pipe analogy, the pressure builds in the form of stress. It builds and builds, it turns to overwhelm, and very quickly it gets to panic and anxiety where the pipe bursts and the pressure's too great. You get to that stage, you're having a mental health breakdown, which clearly we want to avoid. Now, I've been there, I've lost businesses because of this, I've lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt. And there's no coincidence that in the last 12 months of doing this running vlog, let me just go past these people 1 second. Morning. There's no coincidence over the past 12 months of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress in all facets of my life than I have done in the previous 5 years. So I hope that's enough social proof. I've also helped hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years deal with these exact issues. So I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about here. So my pledge to you is, if you're struggling with this and you're one of these people that's struggling with managing the pressures, the overwhelm in your life, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here. Runpreneur vlog is not for profit. All the help and content I give is completely free. Yes, we do raise donations for children's charities, but it's always optional, never essential. So drop me a message if you're struggling with this. We'll jump on a call or we'll get a step-by-step guide out to you, which will help you find your release mechanism and get you back on the right path to success. So help is there. It's often for free. You just have to be prepared to ask it. And it's often easier asking a stranger than nearest and dearest. So that's pretty much it for me today. I'll leave you with, as always, is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.